The topic that I discussed for today is about the summative test. Let's tackle about the goal of summative test. The goal of summative test is to evaluate student learning at the end of an instructional unity of comparing it against some standard of benchmark. Meaning to say, the goal of summative assessment is to evaluate and know what the students already know. And also, summative assessment are often high takes, which means that they have a high point value. Meaning to say, summative assessment is very important when it comes learning process. The example of summative assessment is it includes midterm exam, final project, or standardized test. Information from summative assessments can be used formatively when students or faculty use it to guide their efforts and activities in subsequent courses. Meaning to say, ang information that can gathered in summative test can help us to boost or enhance their ability to think. Just like what I said for my introduction, summative assessment aims to evaluate students' learning and their academic achievement at the end of a term, year, or semester by comparing it against a universal standard or school benchmark. And summative assessment is often high. A high value takes place under controlled conditions and therefore have more visibility. In this summative assessment or summative test, it is important to remember because without summative tests, as students can't identify if what kind of changes or development that need to improve. Why summative assessment is important for learning? Because it is important to current education system. Standard-driven instructions play a significant role. Meaning, summative test or summative assessment is having a big role in terms of learning of the students and also being guide of a teacher on how they can manage or improve the ability of the students. Summative test contributes largely towards improving the British curriculum and overall curriculum planning. When summative assessments data indicates gaps across the board between students' knowledge and learning targets, schools may turn to improve curriculum planning and new learning criteria to assess and improve their school attainment levels. In this definition, it means that having a summative assessment can help us to improve the curriculum levels or the critical thinking skills of students on how they manage their skills to think and to analyzing and even analyzing the test or any kind of test. In summative test, there are two types of summative assessment. The first is formal assessment or formal test. It means that is data-driven method of evaluating students, usually with the well-defined grading parameters. It means that the teacher uses the same assessment method for every student. They respond to the same questions within the same frame and based on the criterion. The second is the informal assessment, which is it involves observing the learners as they learn and evaluating them from the data gathered.